I think like a majority of the house had their mind made up that I was leaving. But, you know, in the very beginning, I could have definitely did more to stop myself from going up on the block.
Why do you think they picked you over Kevin?
I'm not really sure. I'm still trying to process this as we're talking today. I don't really understand why they would send me out of the house over Kevin. The only thing that I'm like even guessing is like everybody kept saying to me, oh, you got your room, right? You got the votes in your room. Like they all thought that I really think they thought I created this alliance already with my room. And then they associated Memphis with that also. They kept saying, oh, well, Memphis, you've got Memphis, right? And everyone knew that Kevin, he had no one. I mean, I really think at the end of the day, like he hasn't made those connections yet. I mean, even when we picked for the veto, he didn't even know who to pick. Like he was just like, you know what I mean? So I think from a game point of view, it's like, okay, well, she has people already on her side. Kevin has this one.
Well, let's talk about Memphis. How are you feeling this morning about him?
I haven't watched like any of the episodes yet, so I'm going off of just living in the house. Listen, he promised me his vote. I did not expect it at the end of the day because let me tell you, they have a game to play still, and they're still in there. You know, they're still fighting to stay. And, you know, at that point, everyone knew that I was leaving. So I definitely wasn't expecting, like, you know, the people that originally promised me to give it to me if I didn't have the numbers.
Okay.
As far as, like, you know, seeing him, it was great to see him. But would I have played with him in the long run? No, because, you know, first time, shame on him. Second time would have been shame on me.
That's fair. Did you, had you guys talked in 12 years? Like, what was your relationship before going in the house?
I mean, not really. Well, let me take that back. We had talked a little bit whenever he still lived in Los Angeles. I had no problems with him at all. And then, you know, when he moved away, it was mostly social media.
Who would you say were your closest allies? Did you have anyone in mind that you wanted to go far with?
Oh, absolutely. I would have been with Janelle and Keesha for sure. I mean, when people were saying you have your room, right? Yeah, absolutely. I have my room, but I'm not going to tell you that.
Right. Well, so had you won HOH, had you still been there, who were you thinking about targeting?
Okay, so originally it would have been Cody. I was like, I'm absolutely putting him up after he put me through this. But at one point in time, I promised him, like, hey, listen, I'm not going to put you up. Like, I'm not coming after you. I will not put you up next week if I win. I would have actually kept that promise. I would have went after probably, you know, Tyler and David because I feel like all those guys were working together.
People were really excited to see you back. I know you don't know that yet, but you were trending on Twitter at one point. People were just so excited. So what made you say yes to the show?
Oh my gosh, that makes me feel so good. After 12 years, like, I'm so excited that they were happy. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, that's what it's about. And I feel so horrible that I didn't get to really give them what they wanted.
Well, someone has to go first. Yeah, it sucks, but.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Trust me. But I was so excited to be able to return. I really was. It was just really exciting to be in there and to be an all-star.
Yeah. Had you thought about ever coming back, or are you kind of like moving on from that?
You know, after the season first ended, season 10, I mean, obviously, like I hope to be called back, you know, within the first few years whenever I was seeing like returning house guests. But after this much time, I was like, listen, people, I'm not going back in the house. Like, it's been way too long. Like, they're not going to call us back, you know? I was shocked.
Yeah, I think we all were, but in a good way.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming people bring up your birthday all the time. What do you think about when you look back on that moment?
We were crazy. But you know what? Like, I wouldn't take it back for a second because that is the most memorable birthday I have ever had in my life. When people say, "Where were you when you turned 30?" Oh, I can tell you where I was. I can tell you what was happening, like the details of that birthday.
Who else from your season are you friendly with? Anyone stick out?
Yeah, I mean, Steven. I love Steven. I love Steven on the show. I love Steven after. I just think he's a really nice person. Libra. I love Libra. She's got a beautiful family. She's a beautiful person. I'd say mainly those two. Dan and I was close for a while, but we've just kind of drifted apart.
So back to this season, who do you want to see win and who do you think will win? And are they the same person?
Well, I would love to see, I always say my top three because it's really hard to decide as of right now, but Janelle, Keesha, or Devon. That's who I'd like to see in the top three. Will they make it there? I think they have a rough road ahead of them. Yeah, I really do. Devon is very outspoken and she's outgoing, and that's one of the things that I love about her. I'm completely attracted to that personality. But I think that makes you a little bit more of a target. And as far as Janelle, Janelle, as soon as she walks in the house, she's a target. Poor thing. The odds are just stacked again. If I was to guess, they're gonna head after those guys first.
For sure. Devon did mention, I think she gave you kind of a heads up that the votes were going toward you. How did you feel when she did that?
Honestly, I gained so much respect for her in that moment. She was the only one. She's the only one. She was the first one that came to me and said, hey, I respect you. I really wanted to play with you, but I don't think it's going to go that way. Yeah,
for sure. So I guess my last question, Keesha, is, are you with Big Brother, or is there a possibility we would ever see you back?
No way. I'm put me back on. Give me another chance. Let me show everyone who I still am.
Listen, I think everyone would love to see that. You were such a fan favorite. Obviously, you got fan favorite. But it was so exciting to see you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.